Government wants to kill the project. It's not about us. They want to kill the project. So you have to ask yourself, why would they want to kill the project? And Russian interests, I think, provide a very logical explanation to that. It is more, and I think that many people believe, Georgian and international experts, not just politicians, that the Russians pressured the Georgian Dream government to stop the Anaklia project. The fact that the Anaklia project is right on the administrative boundary line with Abkhazia is something that the Russians don't like. They don't like it from a military perspective because they have paranoia that it will be a military installation. They don't like it from a political point of view because they don't want to see integration and peace between Georgia and Abkhazia because they profit greatly from this division in their foreign policy actions in the region, which again fits into a history of Russian strategy in this region as well as certain evidence, although I would admit that the evidence is hardly direct. Because the Russians were not opposed to a small expansion of Poti Port. I think that's the major reason. And then in addition, Poti Port offered business opportunities for certain people in the government, whereas because we were already at Anaklia and we were handling Anaklia in a transparent way and working with international financial institutions who actually would not do business with Bidzina Ivanishvili or Vano Chkartishvili, Poti was something that was acceptable to the Russians and which gave business opportunities to the political leadership of the Georgian Dream Party and their business allies. A couple of years back, the Georgian government repossessed the Poti Free Industrial Zone, or at least a majority ownership of the Poti Free Industrial Zone from its previous owner. They essentially handed possession of Poti Free Industrial Zone to a consortium of a Chinese company and a company that is connected to Vano Chkartishvili. Soon after that, or in recent months, Chkartishvili used the courts essentially to take control away from the Chinese partner in the business and to gain complete control of the Poti Free Industrial Zone. The Poti Fizz is controlled by a management company. That management completely is controlled by a management company, a Georgian management company. That management company is owned by two British Virgin Island companies, BVI, that have a 51% stake in it and a 49% stake in it. The company, the BVI company that has a 51% stake in the company that is controlling Poti Fizz is represented by George Bachiashvili, who is a longtime business advisor and consultant of Bidzina Ivanishvili, was previously the head of the Georgian Co-Investment Fund. I know George Bachiashvili. I respect him as a business person, but I'm not aware that George Bachiashvili has done business activities except Bidzina Ivanishvili's. We cannot know who actually owns these two BVI companies because BVI is a secret jurisdiction. It's an offshore jurisdiction, and you can't get the information of who the shareholders are. But fortunately, they helped us, the team at Poti Fizz, by making Mr. Bachiashvili the registered representative of the 51% owner, and everybody knows that George Bachiashvili has for many years worked for Bidzina Ivanishvili. So we don't have direct proof, but I think that that is pretty strong evidence that Mr. Ivanishvili has some role or is behind the 51% BVI company that in turn, 51% gives them control of the management company at Poti Port. The other one, the 49% company, is represented by people who are associated with Vano Chkartishvili. And Vano Chkartishvili's role in the Poti Fizz is not a secret. I mean, that's absolutely public. He's on the supervisory board. There's no question this is his. The current port of Poti is on the south side of the bay, on the south side of the harbor, and it's surrounded by the city. And also due to the hydrodynamics of that harbor, you cannot do a deep water port on the south side of the harbor, and you can't expand because it's surrounded by the city. So if you're going to do a deep water port at Poti, you basically have to do a whole new project on the north side of the bay. And that is exactly what they have in mind. Even if you do a new project on the north side of the Poti Bay, there is not as much land. You cannot get the water depth for the big ships. And so by our analysis, you can, at Poti Port, go no further than the first or second phase of the Anaklia project. And the Anaklia project has 9 phases. So any project at Poti is only going to be something like 10 or 15% of the size and capacity of the Anaklia project. You also do not have nearly as much land and space. The Poti Fizz is nothing compared to the project for Anaklia City, which again was another reason why Anaklia was chosen. Anaklia was chosen because it has the deep water, it has the space, it has the land, it has the potential to be a very large project and an engine of growth for Georgia. Poti does not have that potential. You know, people criticize Shevardnadze, but the fact is that Shevardnadze stood up to the Russian resistance on the pipeline because of the Western support that he got and because of his respect for Western opinion and that Western support and his desire to tie Georgia to the West. So he persevered. And then you look at the next government, the government of Misha Saakashvili, which of course had very strong relations with the West and which accomplished a lot of things in Georgia with that Western support and with that engagement with the West. I don't see that with this government. I don't see the same respect for the opinion of the West, for what was long the conformity and the consistency between Georgia's geopolitical interests and Western geopolitical interests in this region. I don't see the same respect for that from this government. This government instead will listen to Russia on questions like that rather than the West.